Under the warm glare of the two setting suns, the ocean waves deposited their white salty froth upon the shoreline with a calm and gentle caress. The orange light bathed and glistened upon the waves, dancing with each and every movement of the tranquil sea. It was a peaceful, serene setting, as distant bird call echoed through the evening air, and dusk began to settle in. On the horizon, a dark layer of cloud brought with it the usual thunder. Such was commonplace for a land with intense, ever-present humidity. The skies above were clear, the fading blues now tinged with a pink hue as the sun's rays interacted with the atmosphere. And through that atmosphere, a sonic boom ruptured the silence as an orbital entrance was performed. A trail of vapor quickly descended from the heavens, until impacting with violent velocity into the shallow ocean waves. A brief moment of calm followed as the ripples settled and expanded across the water, while the surrounding landscape attempted to return to its previous serenity. But that would not be the case, for the water began to stir. 3 currents close to the surface displaced the waves, and from those currents, 3 golden helmets ascended from the ocean. The water dripping from their teal-colored power armor, while the remaining light reflected a divine aura around these angelic beings. The 3 Atlantian Spears came to a halt before a dark and unnervingly large entrance to a sewage outlet tunnel, one that steadily pumped a dark sludge into the sea beyond. Battle Brother Tyrelle turned to face the librarian, his golden helmet reflecting a perfect halo in the sea air.
Are you sure this is the right place, Brother Librarian?
As he spoke, a dismembered limb floated past within the sludge before being taken by the waves.
Never mind.
The librarian adjusted the dampener settings on his psychic hood.
Yes, this is the right place, Tyrelle. I sense a large presence here.
Brother Arden stepped closer to the tunnel.
Your foresight has not been wrong thus far, Xavier.
Indeed.
Then let us continue, and we shall eradicate this disease with cleansing fire.
Before joining his brothers, Xavier briefly considered the package that he held over one shoulder, its contents wrapped and concealed. The tunnel stretched out before them, dark, unbearably humid, and filled with a thick, heavy stench. One familiar to them all, the coppery scent of blood. The blood was progressively exposed as they progressed through. Limbs were scattered with increasing density. Dark red blood covered the walls in all directions. The spatter and spray above them, the remnants of horrific violence. Flies swarmed around them as maggots wriggled below. Librarian Xavier paused as he approached a twisted and disfigured corpse. He bent down on one knee and examined the carcass.
How long have they been abducting people?
Tyrelle stared at the hanging remains of another corpse, its legs missing, intestines dangling from a beaten torso, as the rope gently swayed in the wind that swept through the tunnel.
Long enough.
Arden focused on the darkness ahead.
Keep moving, brothers.
The 3 Atlantian Spears pushed forward, their senses active, their awareness steadily intensified on the path before them as they conversed.
Abduction, possibly. Or they came of their own free will.
Free will? What freedom is this? What would bring anyone here, to this place, to this end?
The end of these people do not reflect their desires. Followers turn to Khorne for power. A power they do not otherwise have. A power to best their enemies, to free their lives of slavery and ruling from those above them. If they desire bloody vengeance, then what power better than the Blood God?
And in the end?
In the end, their minds, their souls, are offered fully to ruin, to his bloody embrace. Khorne cares not where the blood spills from, only that it spills in glorious amounts. And his followers are in great numbers throughout the Imperium.
Then we shall burn them all. They are weak against the Emperor's Astartes.
Chaos can offer many things to the weak. Power, strength, immortality, and relative freedom from their shackled constraints. But be warned, brother. The demons we will face here do not know fear. They are far from weak.
How do you know so much, librarian? Have you fought this kind before?
It is my duty to know the vast knowledge of our chapter, as well as its enemies. The scriptures stored within our monastery are all I need, though, as well as having a connection to the warp. The presence of these beings grows stronger in me.
As long as it is controlled.
I control it as much as we all control our gene's curse, and with that, I watch upon us all.
A duty Sanguinius would be proud of.
Hold! Something approaches us.
The trio held fast as a drone of noise flooded the tunnel, distant at first, but approaching with terrifying speed. The horns dissipated as the drums began. Each and every beat echoed and reverberated through the darkness. And from the darkness, they came. Bloodletters, the foot soldiers of Khorne. Their skin the deepest red, their horns lit by the flames and banners they held high above their demonic heads. They appeared with speed, their charge held with apparent discipline and formation. But soon they spread and resorted to unchained chaotic frenzy.
Hold the line!
Cried Arden, his voice piercing through the vox of his brothers' helmets as they raised their bolters. Tyrelle activated his chainsword and readied for the onslaught, and the demons, spawned from pure rage, fell slave to their insatiable thirst for blood.
Attack!
The battle lasted mere minutes, but the fight seemed endless in its waves. The sheer ferocity and determination of their enemy to inflict violence, to spill blood, was almost overwhelming. Horns were thrust forward, razor-sharp talons swung in all directions. Brute strength and force was met with bravery, courage, and the might of the Emperor himself. Chainswords swung and arced through the air, each impact shedding limbs and heads. Bolters fired with deadly aim and mighty fury. The bodies fell fast, the pile of corpses and dismembered limbs littering the ground as the Atlantian Spears pushed through wave after wave of demonic frenzy. Xavier fired a final shot, his bolt around tearing through a Bloodletter's head as the demon fell limp to the floor. A haunting silence fell upon them. The sound of their own breathing spread loudly through their vox units as they gathered their strength and composure. But that sound was soon replaced by a faint and devilish laughter. Before them now, a dull orange glow appeared, lighting the darkness beyond. The flames adorning its shield dancing upon the sides of the tunnel and glistening within the slick red blood that now dripped from every surface.
You pathetic mortals! You should not have come here.
We do not run from battle, demon.
But you should run from fear.
We do not suffer from the fears of the weak.
Then let me show you the true meaning of terror.
Your kind have no place here, and we shall banish you from this existence.
No, it is I that shall banish you from this place. Your flesh will be shed from your bodies. Your skulls will be worn, if not offered to the blood god himself.
The herald lifted his arm, an outstretched finger pointing the way forward, and from behind the demon, two beasts raced toward their prey. The flesh hounds charged forward with immense speed, their large fangs covered with drool, anticipating the taste of fresh blood. Xavier fired his bolter wildly, his aim never quite hitting the target. The flesh hounds jumped from side to side, bouncing off the walls in a hail of gunfire. The Psyker was unable to foresee their movements as the hounds' collars of Khorne resisted his targeting abilities. Tyrelle pounced for the first hound, his chainsword already swirling. The beast landed upon him with a heavy blow, the sheer weight of the hound threatening to cave his armor. But as he fell, he placed the chainsword upright above his chest, and the beast had impaled itself upon the swirling blades. Tyrelle could only watch as the life drained from the beast's eyes. The second hound reached Xavier. The Marine parried the attack, drawing a heavy blow down upon the beast's head as he sidestepped away from the attack. It was a move that left a shot open for Arden, and with several well-placed explosive rounds, the flesh hound's head vanished into red mist. The Atlantian Spears gathered themselves once more, turning swiftly to face Khorne's herald. But all that remained before them was darkness once more, and the endless stretching void of the tunnel.
What? What in the Emperor's name were they?
Xavier briefly checked the wrap package around his shoulder remained intact before he answered.
Lesser demons. They exist for slaying in battle, and are drawn by bloodshed. When the carnage reaches its peak and the barrier between dimensions is weakened, Khorne's army will flood into real space and slaughter everything in their path.
They grew stronger with each blow.
Every foe that stands to fight will merely create more energy for their lord.
And the coward that disappeared, he has retreated. Was that all of them?
No. Something is still controlling them, summoning them here. A power lingers beyond these walls.
Then we shall continue, brothers, until every demon is slain.
The tunnel slowly began to open up, and the darkness lifted as they approached the end. Fire could be seen emanating from a distant chamber. The smell of blood hung thick in the air, but this time it was carried with something entirely different. The scent of flesh, decaying, scorched, unworldly meat, the flesh of no mortal being.
The intel was correct, it seems.
Indeed, we have found the source.
And that source will soon be eradicated. I, for one, cannot wait to return to our brothers.
Agreed. There should be more of us here.
They send what they can afford, brothers. Maybe it is for the best.
Why do you say that, Xavier?
Every act of killing or murder in the material universe feeds and empowers Khorne. He is the incarnation of mortal rage. He is slaughter incarnate. The more senseless and destructive, the better. He honors those who set themselves against the most dangerous of foes and earn victory against such odds.
There will be no such victory for them today. Sanguinius runs through my blade, and only he shall taste the victory they crave.
As the fires drew near, the chamber before them opened up. Torches adorned the walls on all sides, and the flames from those torches displayed a horror most terrifying. Bodies clung chained to the walls, carcasses hanging limp from ropes around their necks. Each body covered with deep lacerations and fatal injuries, their blood dripping and pooling around the central chamber. Crude runes were painted on almost every surface, the markings of chaos, the markings of Khorne. But the chamber itself was empty. The Atlantian Spears spread out, each looking for traces of their foe. Their senses heightened, their weapons drawn and ready.
Where are these cowards?
They are here. I can sense them.
Then show yourselves, demons. Or do you fear our wrath?
Surrender to us. Your army is deceased.
We are here to kill, not to...
Yes, but we could study this being.
We need not study this kind. We need only erase them from whatever army they throw our way.
I need no army.
The voice carried such weight that it shook the very foundations of the chamber.
All I need is blood. Blood for the blood god. Skulls for the skull throne. Then show yourself, and be done with this charade. You desire so badly to honor your corpse god. You pretend to feel his presence, his power within you. Yet, you are nothing to us. No more than dung to a beetle. A resting corpse to a fly. You are merely livestock for the slaughter.
The Bloodthirster stepped forward, his towering figure emerging from the darkness of another corridor. His cloven hooves crashed into the ferrocrete beneath him. Dark, leathery wings rippled behind his impossibly muscular body. His horns twisted above his head, ending in blade-like edges. He was the manifestation of the god of war.
Such bravado, such loyalty to your throne, and yet you fear me.
He waved his enormous double-headed battle axe before them. Xavier stepped back, his words betrayed by his actions.
We do not fear any being.
You will die along with the rest of your scum.
The Bloodthirster positioned himself at the center of the chamber, his brass armor gleaming with cornate skull visages. His long, spine-braided beard swung freely beneath his glowing red eyes, the flesh upon his cheeks ripped open to expose bone. Fire danced quickly over his body, as if the flames themselves did not want to linger too long upon his form.
Poor fools, you ignore the blessings of the gods.
We have our own god, the Emperor himself.
Enough talk. Who among you shall be the first to die?
Tyrelle charged forward, his chainsword cleaving through the air with deadly precision. The towering demon parried his attack with ease, but the surprise was clear to see in his blood-colored eyes. Now Arden fired his bolter, again and again. The sound of the explosive rounds echoed within the chamber, but the Bloodthirster took the onslaught with his armor as he rushed toward him, and with one blow, flung him across the room. Beside him, Xavier ran forward, dodging and sliding between the demon's strikes, his blade cutting through the air with deadly accuracy. Flesh was torn, and blood was spilt. The Bloodthirster roared in anger, a cry that pierced through their helmets and tried its best to infect their brain with terror. Tyrelle charged again for a final time, slicing the tendons in the demon's thick leg before plunging his sword into its abdomen. The beast roared in agony as it stumbled backward, the chainsword still rumbling in its belly. With surprising speed, it lunged forward with a swift and menacing blow. It brought down its battle axe and decapitated Tyrelle where he stood. The brief cry that ruptured through the vox infuriated Arden. He leapt to his knees and fired several more rounds. This time he made sure to spill blood. The rounds punctured Red's skin over and over, each impact spraying red mist into the air. The towering demon gurgled with pain, but remained upright, its axe swinging wildly now. Arden and Xavier ducked and dived away, but even these genetically enhanced men were beginning to tire. The Bloodthirster charged once more, but this time without wavering. Arden met him with full force. Their bodies collided, and as they did so, Arden grabbed the chainsword with both hands, ripped it free from the demon's stomach, and rammed it back into his chest. The beast roared again as it lifted Arden into the air with both hands, and violently twisted his neck. The sound of snapping bones reverberated in Xavier's helmet as he rushed forward, swiping his blade at the beast's legs. In a final act, the Bloodthirster reached for his dropped axe and delivered a fatal blow, almost splitting Xavier in half. A silence enveloped the chamber then, as a shower of dust and debris fell slowly to the ground. The Bloodthirster emitted a guttural growl as it inspected its wounds. But behind him, Xavier had removed the package from his shoulder and unwrapped the precious weapon. Now, with a final, desperate act, he leapt for the demon and rammed the teal and gold trident spear into the demon's back, breaking several ribs as he did so. The Bloodthirster spun in pain and tried its best to stand. He cast his eyes down toward his dying prey. Xavier managed to smile behind his broken helmet.
No, by the Emperor's will, our mission is a success.
And with that, he detonated the promethium-laced explosives embedded within the spear. The chamber erupted in fire and blood, barely leaving any trace of the battle that had just taken place. Moments later, as the flames began to settle, the Herald of Khorne appeared, his face gleaming with pleasure, the skulls adorning his armor and dangling from his cloak shone with reflected firelight.
Blood for the Blood God.